What's going on? We in the same place. What's happening this time? Man, we doing something new.
Something completely new tonight. Well, not completely new. It's still an episode of
Man, Me Too.
This episode 20.
That's crazy. It's been a little over a year now, right?
Yeah.
And
started doing the pandemic. I don't know if the pandemic over.
I think a lot of people think it's over.
People out here think so. I was at Walmart yesterday. It looked like it was over in the Walmart.
So they didn't have masks on at all?
Man, I felt so weird. So they tell you if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. I'm fully vaccinated, but I'm still out here masked up.
Wow.
These people free.
They said pandemic over.
It's over, right? It's over. They don't care.
Man, that's crazy. That's funny because when the pandemic first happened and we were forced to wear masks, it was uncomfortable and you looked at a person crazy when they had it on, like, or it just felt uncomfortable. But now when you see a person without it, it's like, where's the mask?
Where's your mask, man?
Woo! So welcome everybody. Welcome to Man, Me Too. We just want to welcome you all on. We thank you all for anybody who may be on right now. We just want you to like, comment, share this show. We're excited today because we're doing something a little different. We're actually live together. Yeah. We're normally at our own individual places, but pandemic over. I'm just kidding.
It's over. Listen, just call it right now. You calling me right now. It's over.
Now that's funny though because when we first talked about doing it, I think we talked about doing it together, and that's when things happened where we had to be separate. And thank God that we still were able to do it separately, virtually. But I'm glad to be here with you today. Like I feel like I can hear you
right
completely.
Right.
Because my wife be like, "You get always talking." I'm like, "I can't. I don't know sometimes." Well, the delay in with the internet as well. So
okay, so people, you have to realize who you are too, right? So you're a natural talker anyway, right? I'm more of a reserved person unless I know you. Like this whole thing is nothing that I would.
And that's when things happen.
I would do just anyway. So for me to get over talked is not easy. I mean, it's not hard,
right?
Because I would.
Well, thank God for the show though, because it has gotten me a little more comfortable being in front of the camera. I remember when we first started out. I still be nervous. Don't get me wrong, but I used to really be like, oh my God. And I wouldn't go back and look at any of the footage because it's like, I don't want to see myself. I didn't like hearing my voice, so I didn't want to go back and listen to it. But going back listening to it, you learn some stuff and just really realizing that we've had some really, really good talks and some really good conversations. And so we want to continue that tonight. So we want you all, whoever's listening right now, to share this show. Share it with your brother, your friend. Oh, let me give my whole spiel. So, with Man Me Too, we are out here to have a platform where men can literally speak on issues that we don't normally talk about. And so we want to shatter the silence of men because we silent about a whole bunch of things. And so we want to start the community of healing, and you can only do that through love and laughter. So we just want to incorporate those things. We talk about some deep subjects sometimes, and sometimes we talk about some lighthearted subjects, but we want men to realize that you don't have to hold it in. Like, it's okay to talk. It's probably more beneficial to talk. Now, the thing is, you have to be careful who you talk in front of or talk to. So I say be very strategic in finding someone who you can confide in.
Yes.
Because you don't want to just talk to anybody. And one way I listen to people when they talk, and if they always talk about other people's business to me, I know they'll do that same thing to me, to somebody else. So, but I thank God I got you, bro. I definitely have had some hard topics I had to talk, to you about, and I appreciate you availing yourself to it. But man, I'm excited to be here today. How your day been today?
It's been a day.
Man. Well, for me, it's been cool. I mean, I'm excited that tomorrow is Friday.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I definitely enjoyed. Did you all enjoy the holiday? Did you all get a chance to relax?
Yeah, this was a short week.
Yeah, it definitely was, and
it felt long though to me.
I need them to reconstruct some things in the world to make Monday a part of the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And we only work 4 days of the week, but they still pay us for.
So I was talking to somebody about the whole weekend aspect. Who decided the week was 5 days? The weekend was only 2. But I realized that, let's say they give us an extra weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we're going to be like, why they ain't make the weekend 4 days?
But it's been 3 days for so long. I mean, Friday, then Saturday, and Sunday. Then the work week. So, I mean, we know the week starts on Sunday, but the work week for most people starts.
But I feel like us as humans, we're never satisfied.
Yeah,
we always want more. It's just gonna. Why the weekend can't be Saturday?
That's funny because I often be like, man, God, I just need you to invent one more day.
One more day.
But in all actuality, if he did that, it would just get filled up with something else. So I probably still wouldn't get the rest that I wanted or any of those things. So, hey, but I do feel like I do a lot. Don't get me wrong. But I know how to relax. I know how to enjoy myself. And
I seen you relax 2 times for the first time ever in like this week.
Yeah, he called me and I was asleep. Like I was in the bed like
this week. I've known you for a while. 2 times.
But that's the thing, like relaxing to me is being around people. Like having fun, sitting around either playing cards or having good conversation. That's relaxing to me.
What y'all call relaxing? Let us know.
Yeah, put in the comment section, what do you all do to relax?
My relaxing is this. Watching TV.
Yeah, I like to watch TV too, but I like to do it with people around.
That's cool.
See, you got a whole house, you got children and stuff like that, so they're always filling up
This is what I tell them. Y'all filling up all the air with words. Like it's too much stuff in here right now. Like y'all gotta be quiet for a second. Let the words some of the words disappear. Then y'all can start talking.
See, I'm ready for all the words, for all the extra questions. Daddy, what?
Please prepare for it.
You right. I probably remember. Hey, once I told God I wanted a testimony of my own, and everything started happening. So I am very careful.
Let's get it.
When I speak into the atmosphere, but hey, I think I'm ready. One thing I don't think I'm ready for is the newborn crying thing. Like I wish my child could like come out as a 4-year-old or 2-year-old.
No, you need that newborn stage.
You gotta feed them every couple hours.
Yeah, you need that though, because that's gonna teach you a lot of stuff that you need to know.
And they so fragile later. At that point, you can't really.
But they stay fragile for a while. So even though they're like 8 or 9, they still fragile. They just might not be fragile like you drop them.
Yeah,
you say the wrong thing, they just bust out teeth. Like, wait, that wasn't even that tough. So they stay fragile.
That's true.
I mean, honestly, I'm probably still fragile now. So
dang.
Let's not talk about that.
That is true. Most stuff that happens and said to you and done to you as a child, it sticks with you. Mm-hmm. And it shows up in different ways, and we don't realize it.
So you need that wake up every hour to build up this thing, whatever it builds. I don't know.
Oh man, it does. Okay, we pray that God prepare me for that because
I'll be doing great, man.
So we want to say welcome again. Welcome to Mannn, Me Too. We're excited, y'all. This is our first time actually being in the same place doing this show, and we're excited for everybody that's coming on We want you all to converse back and forth with us. Don't allow us just to have the conversation. Type in the chat, and if we see some questions or some comments, we'll put them up on the screen, read them out loud or whatever. But we want to have a conversation with everybody who's online, not just us. We do this all the time. We're just inviting you all into what we do. So we want to make sure that we lift each other up. So we don't proclaim to know everything. We don't even proclaim to act like we have all the answers to everything. But we do want to have the conversation and open up the the line of communication where we can talk about things and talk about real things, because you all know how social media works. It's a false reality. We give people what we want them to see. We give them the glamorous pictures and videos, and we don't give them the struggle times and the hard times. And so, if not careful, you can look at those things in life and think that's how it's supposed to be, or that's how it actually works. And then when you go through your struggles, you mad at life or you mad at the people around you because it doesn't look like what you see online. And so it's they call it reality TV and all that type of stuff, but most of those shows are scripted.
Right.
Like very seldom are they actual, like authentic, just the cameras are on and it is what it is. Most of them are scripted. A lot of times the friends who they say they're friends are really not friends. They're just friends for the show or for the scene or any of those things.
Or
but
for the check.
Right. You definitely right about that. And so we are real friends. And in life, we talk about real situations. Like I have struggles. We both do. It's about being real with yourself. And that's one thing that I'm learning, that you have to be real with yourself. Because if you're not real with yourself, then you almost start to believe the lie.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm okay. You think that you're okay. And then all of a sudden you have a big breakdown. It's like, dang, where did this come from? And it's because a lot of times we act as if we're okay, and we start to make our mind believe that we're okay. And we're really not. Or sometimes you are okay. Sometimes you just need somebody to laugh with, to talk about your day. And so, yeah, so we want you all to share this show, share this with your brothers, your cousins, your uncles, your nephews, any man in your life, a boy that's growing to be a man. Hey, and even the women, we appreciate you all being on as well, because I'm sure you all learn a lot about us as men, the way we think, because men think totally different from women. And women think totally different from men, but sometimes you have to be in that place with them to really get an understanding of how they think. And so, hey, I ask women all the time questions about certain things that I would ask a guy. I'm like, okay, so what is your perspective on it? And so a lot of times they give a different perspective, but I'm learning the only way to really learn about other people is to open yourself up to them. So that goes as far as race. That goes as far as all these different things in the world. It may be different from us, but as long as we shelter ourselves and don't really open ourselves up to it, you'll never understand it. And so, even as, like I said, as far as race, I'll ask people of the Caucasian descent questions of how they think, or why they think the things that they think, and then I open myself up to them to let them know why we feel the way that we feel about certain things. But the only way to do that is if you open yourself up and be willing to be quiet and listen.
Yeah. Because you talk to a lot of people, they already got reasons.
Right.
They already know what it is.
So to the people that's on, y'all put something in the chat. Give us some thumbs up or something, and tell us, hey, tell us how your day was or anything. We just want I know a lot of people don't want to say stuff, but hey, we want to know that you all are there. So go ahead and say something. And while you're doing that, we also have a YouTube channel that we are also live on. So we want you to go to our YouTube channel. It's Mannn with 3 N's. Mannn with 3 N's, me too. And we want you to like, comment, and share. We also want you to hit the notification bell and make sure you hit all, because if you just hit the bell, It may work, it may not, but if you gotta hit all, so anytime we go live, we do anything, if we decide to sell some merch, any of that stuff will come up if you hit the all button. So make sure that you smash that notification bell and definitely hit all. So we normally start out with some would you rather questions. So we're gonna go into that segment of the night, and we're gonna get things rolling into our topic for tonight. But we want to start with some would you rather questions.
And we want to hear your input too. So don't be quiet tonight. We live. We here together. Okay, so just join. Come on in. Take a seat right here.
Yeah, we got a spot right here for you.
Whatever you got to say, we want to hear it. Okay. All right. Would you rather?
Oh Lord,
I'm in charge tonight. So I got a nice commute to work. So this will kind of hit home for me. Would you rather have all traffic lights you approach be green or never stand in line anywhere?
That's pretty interesting because say that one more time.
Have all the traffic lights that you approach always be green, or never stand in any line ever.
That's a hard one because I hate traffic. I literally hate traffic. I would do anything to not be in traffic. I would ride on the shoulder of the road, not to sit in standstill traffic. But I also hate lines. It's so bad for me that I want to be like the last person to get raptured.
Let me be last.
I want everybody to get. I know if I'm last, I gotta literally wait in the line. But
I was gonna say you doing the opposite.
But I don't want to be first. I want to be the last, so everybody
get. We got some answers right there. Okay. Traffic for the one. What you doing with? But if you,
I guess I will stand.
Wait, let's touch on this rapture thing real quick, right? Because that was interesting. So you said you want to be.
I want to be last, so
but
everybody else can go.
You hate being in line, but you want to be last. Do you know how many people go?
Okay, maybe
process
maybe not last, but I want to be the last person done, but I want to.
You gonna be kicking it in line, like you gonna be.
No, I won't like.
You gonna be chatting it up with the person.
You know when you go to the airport, you can like they have a new thing where you can scan your face or something like that, which was kind of weird for Janetta, but it was like that's the anti-crowd. But it literally stopped you from having to stand in the line, so you can get there even later than you would have. That's what I want. I want like that express. Have y'all ever been to like Six Flags and used the Flash Pass?
Mm-hmm.
So I used to work at Six Flags. I used to be one of the supervisors there in the Flash Pass office. And so the Flash Pass literally stands in line for you. Mm-hmm. So it'll give you a wait time, but you go to the line at that time.
At the exact time.
At the exact time when it beeps or whatever it does. It may do something totally different now, but you would go to the line when it beeped, and then you go right through. So you didn't have to wait in line, and then you can get the I think it was like the platinum one that really didn't allow you to wait in line. Like once you scanned it, you can go right through. That's what I need when the rapture happens.
You want a flash? I want to heaven. Okay.
I want to be the last one that's raptured up, but I want a flash pack. Yeah, like I need to jump everybody.
Your time is now.
Because I may get raptured up, and then I might end up on the hell. Because I got to stand in line, I'm going to get frustrated.
Oh, that'll be messed up. Like, you made it this far. And you did.
Oh, man.
Because you had to stand in line so long. You end up going there.
That's why I need that flash pass, so I can just wave by everybody and be like, hey, how y'all doing?
You might call some other people to go.
They're gonna be mad.
Why you jumping the line? Why you jumping? See, it's all kind of.
So Terrell, I'm with you. I definitely would rather pass all the traffic.
So you go to traffic light?
Yeah, I'll stand in line. But I hate traffic. You put me in a vehicle and I still gotta wait? Oh no. I will almost get out and start walking just to not have to sit still. So yeah, I would make all my lights turn green. Oh, that would be a blessing. Because it's like all the lights turn red when you have to go somewhere. It just seemed like that. It's like you catch every light when you're trying to rush somewhere. It's like, really? So I don't know if, when you're just going at the right time, you don't focus on it or you're not in such a rush. But man, do you know how many times I'm trying to rush to get somewhere? I need all those lights to be green.
You made me think now. Because initially, I was thinking traffic.
He said, I wish I could run every light.
My initial go-to was, I'm with you too, I wish I could.
Yes, sir.
My initial go-to was traffic.
I was about to tell myself,
but not. But now that you talk and I sat here and listened, I think I'm going to go with never standing in line.
Really?
I hate sitting in food, like drive-through line. I would not eat about those. I would just go home and not eat rather than sit there.
You're absolutely right about that. Because, yes.
And then the Six Flags thing, I thought about standing in the funnel cake line. Like, I thought about that Walmart line during the pandemic.
Oh, Walmart.
Even after the pandemic. But
Walmart never had a pandemic. That turned into the club. It didn't matter what time of the day you went in Walmart. It was always packed. I don't know what was going on, but every time.
So traffic lights, right? So you can still hit or miss. So it's like it ain't like it said you're gonna get red lights every time. So you still might get a lot of green lights. So I'm gonna go with stand in line because that's for sure. Never ever will I stand in line. I can sit I don't even know how long the traffic light runs.
But have you ever been on one of them traffic lights that took forever to turn? Like something went wrong with it to the point where you probably did run the light. Like, I'm not gonna sit here no more.
I'm not gonna say what I was okay. I feel like I need to say it. I was gonna say only when I'm in the city. But
so you devalue the city?
No.
No, the city actually does have a lot of stoplights, and definitely on those side streets have a lot of stop signs.
Sometimes they be broke though, like they just be sitting there.
That's true. That is very true.
But no, like a traffic light, maybe like 30, 40 seconds. I don't know how long it is. But
that's long, man.
Okay, this is what I was
going to say. Especially when you try to go somewhere.
The only time I really have a real issue with a traffic light is when it's like 11, 12 o'clock the few times that I'm out. Mm-hmm. And then I'm sitting at a red light, but it ain't nobody else on the street. And it's like, why am I sitting here? And there's nobody else around. Like, this is stupid. Like, you making me waste gas, time.
That's true.
For nothing.
Hey, man, he said Lindbergh traffic is crazy. Man, I literally work the hours that I work at my job and get off at the time that I get off just to not be in Lindbergh traffic. Because if I get home after 3:30 or if I get in the area after 3:30, it's a done deal. I have to sit in all of that traffic just to get home. And so, and going back to the line thing, I had to give my wife something to eat the other day. And I literally drove up and down Lindbergh and every line was packed. And it's been like that since the whole pandemic happened. So I just said, forget it. I'll go home and make.
No, before the pandemic.
You might be right.
Don't get food in North Carolina.
I thought about it. I was like, should I drive to St. Peter's or St. Charles and get her something to eat?
I would drive to St. Charles Rock Road and to go to Lindbergh. Lindbergh is maybe 5 minutes away. I would drive all the way down to St. Charles Rock Road just to get food.
That Lindbergh traffic be crazy.
Yeah. You going traffic?
So,
it looked like traffic won.
Yeah, I think I would have to go with traffic for that. I mean,
it's hard, but
I'll stand in the line. Well, I just need a flash person to be in.
Well, the wife and I just left the store, and I feel like she was in there for 30 minutes. And she said it was because of the line.
Well, my wonderful wife, she ponders in the store, so I'd rather go by myself.
I don't think my wife was doing that this
time. Okay, that's wonderful.
I'm gonna give her every day.
We go grocery shopping. I'll be like, just send me the list. I'll go by myself. I literally go in, pick up what I need, and go. She was like, this one is $289. This one is $291. Which one do I want?
You gotta look at how much it is, because sometimes the quantity ain't the same.
Sir,
so like, is it worth it?
Get it and go.
No, I didn't. I actually went to the store and got some milk yesterday, and I was like analyzing prices and how much. That's 2 liters.
Well, I guess you have to do that right now because you have throwing boys and girls. So,
I be trying to get the most bang for my buck.
Right now I say get it and go.
All right. Question 2.
Question 2.
Would you rather have an easy job working for someone else, or work for yourself but work incredibly hard? This is, I ain't gonna say it's weird because not all jobs are easy, but when you work for someone else, but work for yourself is hard.
So everybody in today's climate wants to be an entrepreneur. Yep. Everybody. Oh, I'm starting a business. Oh, I'm starting. I love it.
Me too.
But
all that what I would say in the beginning, keep all of it. Store some up for later.
Yes, sir. Definitely. But I would have to say that at least get the work ethic under you first. Because a lot of people want to start businesses, but they don't have the work ethic. They don't have the finances behind to push it, or the staff, or you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you have to have the mindset to work your own job.
Yeah, because you the boss, you the worker, you the marketing.
And if you got any type of staff, you're the employer. Mm-hmm. So you got to hold up your end of the bargain. You can't tell them, oh, I'm going to pay you this amount, but business was down this week, so So a lot of times you sacrifice as the owner because you want to hold up. You should want to hold up the integrity.
If you're a good business.
Yeah. You want to hold up the integrity of doing what you're supposed to do. And so I don't think a lot of people have that mindset. So that's why, honestly, a lot of people, and I don't always agree with it because I know a lot of black businesses that are awesome at what they do, but a lot of people don't like to go to black-owned businesses because things a lot of times they either be late, they don't honor the word. They'll say it open up at 10, but they get there at 10:30, 11 o'clock. So I said all that to say it's harder to work for yourself. If I go to work
and this
can't get past, I'm making someone else rich. We'll drop you. That's good perspective. That's true. That's true. I agree with you, but you have to have the work ethic under you to step out, because if you work a job for somebody else, you sign a contract saying you get paid whatever you're getting paid. They have to honor that. So if you work hard or you work easy that day, you're going to still get the same pay. If you own your own business, if you work hard, you're going to get the money. If you don't work hard, it's not going to happen. So, again, people have to have that good work ethic under them if they're going to step out and be an entrepreneur. So, the way to me to do that, you have to, I always say, you have to be a good follower to be a good leader. And so many people are so ready to jump out and be the leader, but they don't know how to follow. And once you learn how to follow, it's going to keep you in the place mentally that you don't abuse your staff, that you know what I'm saying, because you remember what it felt like to follow. You know how to talk to people, you know how to honor your word, you know how to be empathetic, all those things come from learning to be a good leader by following. So a lot of people are stepping out and want to lead, and they don't know how to follow. So for me, I would right now in my life, I would stick to working. I mean, I would say work an easy job. What was the question again? Because
would you rather work an easy job, working for someone else, or work for yourself and working for yourself?
Okay, I would rather work an easy job, and but I would work for myself as well, like I do on the side.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's just what I would do. Like, I mean, I don't want to say everything I do because IRS might be looking. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously,
if we start naming off all the stuff you just could have, we would be here.
But I can do all those things on the side.
True.
And
still get a guarantee.
Like one of my friends that I grew up with, singer, she just became a worship leader, worship pastor at a church in Texas. And she talked about how the other day she was talking about how she never wanted to take that position because it turned into something that she loved to do. It turns into something that she has to do because it's her job now. And so a lot of times when you step into that, you're doing it just because it has to get done. And so for me, I like to do it. Yeah, I get paid for certain things, but I like to do it either on the side or because I like doing it.
But a lot of people say, you hear people say, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So,
but okay, so it's like I write songs, but if I get under a contract where I have to write a certain amount of songs,
but you love it, so they don't feel like work.
But it's not always that easy to come up with songs. It may, like, God may literally drop something in my spirit one day, and I may not get the rest of the song for another year.
But if you're
so I would have to literally make myself sit down and say, I'm going to write this.
Yeah, but if you free up all the time from all the other stuff you're doing, and this is
That's
the
true.
only thing you're doing, then maybe it may come.
But again, with that, you got to have good work ethic, because if you don't, then you're going to become lazy. Because I work for myself, so going with that question, you got to work extremely hard. So I don't know. What y'all think? What would y'all say? I like working for myself as well, or to work for myself. But I just personally, right now in my life, I like to do it on the side.
I was going to say,
because I like guaranteed money.
So I would go with initially work for someone else and then hustle on the side. But you never know if you hustling on the side is keeping down what could be something amazing. Because you still obligated to do this other thing. What if you hustled all day?
You're right. You can have that multi-billion-dollar business that you have. So you can go ahead and quit your job because you got a business. Y'all see this shirt? It say, bro, so dope. This is this man's line. Like, he make all this stuff. Like, he has a multi-billion, he got a multi-billion-dollar, almost trillion-dollar company.
That would be.
Hey, quit your job. You can make that happen.
Hey,
you can work extremely hard.
No, real talk. No, real talk. So, going back to something you said earlier about we all over social media not being a real reality. Listen, get off all these pages where these people showing fights and all this other stupid stuff. Go find you some real quality people online who gonna encourage you, who gonna push you. Like this shirt, Belief in Fatherhood. If you never heard of them, look them up. Belief is spelled. It's like BELEAF. It's not believe. It's like belief. But he's a father who's trying to be a good father.
That's what's up. That's what this show is geared towards.
Right.
Build each other up.
And so he narrates, like he literally records his life and narrates like the good, the bad, and the ugly. And he'll tell you, I did this wrong when I was dealing with him, and I did this right. I did this like.
That's what's up.
I love
people who are
these pages where these people just putting trash out, man. Find you somebody
with some
positive, yeah.
Because a lot of time people are just giving surface stuff,
right,
and they're not giving you the real stuff. So I love having some substance. There's nothing like, okay, so you go out to eat and they bring you all sides. You're gonna be like,
right,
I need something, some meat or something.
We all like to have fun, but there's only so much. Okay, at some point you gotta buckle down and do something real. So,
yeah, that's true.
So
did you answer what your question?
Yeah, I said I'm a side hustle, just like I side hustle.
Hey, every man, it's just how I feel, is my opinion. Every man should have something that they hustle or do on the side.
Like the people in the pandemic.
I do. I'm not saying that. But I do think you should have multiple streams of income. I'll put it like that. Because anything can happen with anything. And you should have multiple skill sets. Because if anything should happen, you should be able to say, okay, I can do this to, make ends meet for time being or whatever it is. But if you only have one skill set, then whatever, say you are a drummer, you break your leg, God forbid, and how you gonna make your income?
I feel like people out here saying they only got one skill set is lying to themselves.
But that takes hard work to.
Right. All right.
What's the next one?
All right, this last one. Would you rather wake up as a new random person every year, have full control of them for the whole year, or once a week spend a day inside a stranger without having any control of them?
Say that again.
Wake up as a new random person every year. Okay. Every year. And you got full control of this random person for the year. Okay. Or wake up once a week and you spend a day in a stranger's body without having any control over
it. I would definitely go with the first one.
Be a different person every year?
Yeah. Because I want to have control. Who doesn't want to have control? I gotta wake up as. What was the second part of it?
Wake up once a week and spend
once a week
and spend a day inside a stranger without any control.
I think that would lead to me being unstable. And I probably would take some of those characteristics on. If I'm in a random person every week, yeah.
Okay, let me. Okay, when I read it, this is what I thought.
Yeah.
I felt like you can get a real good perspective of all these people out here that be saying stuff and thinking stuff that you just be like, how did you even come to that conclusion? Right? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, because it's only for one day a week, so that I'm assuming I go back to myself the rest of the days. So I'm getting a real good perspective of why they still think like that. And then the next week, I'm gonna get a whole different perspective of why he think like that. It's almost like you're like who's the people who study the brain, like a psychologist or something. But it's like a real in depth because you.
But you think you would get all of that in just 1 week?
In a day, yeah. Typically people do.
Okay.
If I spend a day inside somebody's body, I feel like I can get a good feel for who they are.
Yeah, that's true.
Like what they watching, what they feeding themselves, what they not naturally feeding, but just like what you on the internet googling, what you watching on TV.
But you don't have no control over it.
Yeah, but
this person may wake up and be like, "Oh, I'm ready to go exercise," and you like, "Oh my god, I don't want to go."
Well, maybe you might be fit, so it ain't gonna bother me. It ain't like I'm carrying my body inside.
Oh man!
But what came to my mind was the political aspect of stuff. Like when people be like, "Oh, oh, all Democrats are this, all Republicans. It would help me see why they think this way, because people don't come out and just tell you what, like, why you hate.
Yeah, because I would definitely love to be like a fly on the wall. Because I like to know how people think or why they think what they think.
Right. Like, why you just hate a certain set of people. Like,
right.
I can get an insight on that. And then be like,
good perspective. I think I would have to go with that as well.
Yeah, because waking up as a different person every year, like, it would be like, it would almost feel like you dying every year.
Yeah, like, okay, when is this going to be over?
Hey, man, I'm finna be somebody else in a couple days. Like, What if you killed it? What if you killed it when you became like a billionaire or something?
And then you go to be a poor person?
Right.
Yeah, that would suck. What if you did that within a week? You ain't got no control over that.
No, it's only a day though.
Oh, a day.
Well, you could become a billionaire. You could wake up as a billionaire for a day and experience what you offer. But I feel like that's different than you actually building something for a year. Let's say you build something for 6 months, and then
a year is a long time.
You blow up, so you live in like lavish for 6 months.
And if I build up to be that within a year, I want to keep that.
Right. So then
I get it.
So if you're a different person every week, you could write books. You could blow up yourself.
But do you get a chance to remember who you were?
Like, you got to. That's all you can.
It would be hard for me not to tell people like that was me last week.
But it wasn't really you. You was just witnessing what they were doing.
Oh, okay.
You don't have no control. If it's weekly, or 1 day a week, you just get a good insight. You can write books on. You can write real books on like.
That is true.
Why people think how they think, or
and that's exactly what I was thinking. Because my mind always goes to how to monetize this. So that is great. I definitely would do that.
You monetize something
if I get to remember it, even though I have no control over it, I can write. Okay, this is how you deal with it.
You can write insight books on women, men, race, politics. Like, when you can write a book about everything after
I'd be rich.
Yeah, see? All right.
I'm with you, my brother.
What we got? Yep. Wake up random.
Yep.
Once a week.
And we all on the same page.
Wait, I don't know if he's saying once a week or...
I think waking up random. That was the question.
Yeah, wake up as a random person every year is how it started, but...
No.
You might... Hold up. Kurt, let us know. Is it the year or the once a week?
So thank you all for joining our extensive Would You Rather.
Right.
I enjoyed it. Hey, y'all gotta, be patient with us. This was our first time being in the actual room with each other. So,
well, talking to y'all.
Yeah. So, talking to you all. So this, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you all so much for engaging in our Would You Rather segment. Before we move on to our topic, we want you all to share this show. Also, go to our YouTube channel, Mannn Me Too, Mannn with 3 N's, Me Too, and like, comment, and share. Also, subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell, and make sure you hit the all button so that you can be notified anytime that we post anything. Hey, say you all have some comments or some suggestions, or you all want to talk about something, a certain topic that we didn't get a chance to talk about, or you all want us to kind of dive into, you all can email us at Mannn with 3 N's, me too, @gmail.com. And we will go through them and we will talk about them or whatever it is. And so those are ways that you all can reach us as well. Again, we're out to have a platform that where men can speak on issues that they don't normally talk about. We want to shatter the silence of men and start the community of healing, love, and laughter. So I'm glad that we kind of get a chance to do all of that on this show. Some men don't get a chance to express themselves.
A lot of men.
A lot of men don't. Most of us have grown up where, kind of forced to hold our feelings in.
Yeah.
And so, or you made to feel less than a man if you show you have feelings. But how I look at it is, God gave it to us. Now, I don't have to go out here with my feelings on my shoulder and, be emotional every time I go somewhere. But it's okay to find someone you can confide in, and share my feelings. So, yeah, so tonight, we want to go ahead and get into our topic. Again, share this show with somebody. We're about to really talk about some things that I think that all of us either have experienced or maybe currently going through. And we just want to talk about transitioning. Like, what brought about this is we're in the graduation season. And so a lot of people, a lot of high school people, a lot of people graduated from college, they're in transition. And so sometimes with transition can bring on fear. The fear of the unknown, the fear of what may happen, what may not happen. Is this something that I want to do long term? Or do I just really simply just finding out who I am and what I want to do? And so sometimes they can bring on fear. Sometimes they can bring excitement. Sometimes they can be bittersweet. So, we just want to kind of talk about how do we deal with fears? What are some things you do to overcome fear? Because we don't have the answers to everything. But we all can kind of talk about how we kind of overcome it, or are we actually overcoming it? Or are we just, allowing fear to stop us? How are we dealing with the excitement of it, the newness of it? Or are you allowing the situation to just actually unfold and you learn new things, or are you just going to stay in the same place? And we want to talk about goals and expectations. So let's dive into it. So, brother, can you give us one thing? And I ain't going to make you go down a whole list. One thing when you think about it in life that makes you a little like, I don't know if I want to do that. Or a little fearful. Or apprehensive, like, I want to do this, but
I would say when my wife brought this up, like any type of like confrontation, whether good, bad. If anybody ever come to me and be like, "We need to talk," I'll be like,
really,
yeah, automatic. Anytime my wife calls me and be like, "We need to talk," I automatically think we're going to divorce court. No. No,
hey, that's real though.
I don't think we're going to divorce court, but I do be like,
it's got to be something bad.
What I done did now, like, or I never think like this is going to be something amazing, because I rarely does someone preface a conversation with we need to talk, or and it's something good afterwards, at least in my experience. But well, I'm not gonna say that doesn't happen. It does happen. I just always assume it's gonna be something good. So
go ahead, finish.
So the like having, it doesn't even have to be a tough conversation. It's just like any type of like deep conversation is just like, I don't think to do this.
So do you rather keep the conversation kind of surface, not really dive into those moments, or has something happened in your life to make you even think that when a person says that, oh, this is not going to be good?
Well, so my wife said that I don't care about what people think of me, but that's not true. I don't care about what people think about me who just made this false assumption. But if it's somebody who I really care about, like I care that what they think. But if they just choose to just go down some weird hole and be like, call it do this or that, and it's just like, well, I didn't do that, so I don't do it.
Hey, that man, that goes to the whole balancing that we talked about a couple of episodes ago, whenever that was. Having a balance, because there is a level of I don't care what people think that you have to have in order to make it in life and to definitely be successful. Because a lot of times people will they will get on you for doing something different because we get so used to the same things in life. And so anytime somebody comes with something different, it's immediately judged. But after a while it becomes the norm.
Yeah.
I think about like Kirk Franklin. When he first came out doing, what he was doing, he was criticized like crazy. Oh, that's not gospel music. They talking about stuff. They not talking about, they're not saying Jesus and that. But then that eventually became what everybody started doing. So
Kirk Franklin music.
It is. And so I think you have to have a level of I don't care what I'm going to have to endure or what people think to create change, because change doesn't happen until you do something different. As long as you keep doing the same thing, nothing will happen differently. But as soon as you step out of that box and it's something, think about it. During slavery time, most of the people that were slaves, they were used to being slaves, and they probably was like, "This is what we gonna do." And then somebody came along like, "We's gonna try to be free." They like, "Hold on, wait a minute. You talking about doing what?"
You see that man hanging over there? You want to go
right? Exactly. But it took for somebody to do something different to create leading people to their freedom. So I think you have to have a balance, or try to find some type of balance of I don't care what people think, but then you also do have to care about what people think, especially if you're going to have a business, or be in ministry, or be a speaker, any of those types of things. There's certain stuff that you have to make sure that you have together because it could hurt you.
So this is what I'm gonna say. I think I'm gonna call it passion, right? So if I'm coming to you to confront you about something, I don't even want to say confront. If I'm bringing something to you, like, you have to know that my intentions are I want the best for you. So even though I may come off strong or what I call passionate about it, it's only because I see like you might be doing something that could hurt you in the long run, or you might not be living up to what you could be doing. So but I don't think people always care about your intention. They just hear words and they be like, "Ooh, that was tough. I don't like that."
But you gotta realize most people hear things through their own trauma.
Right.
So you could have the greatest intention, but you could literally hurt their feelings. Ask me how I know. I have a wife. I have great intentions. I never want to hurt her feelings. But guess what? Yeah, I hurt her feelings sometimes. And so, but that's because she's hearing what I'm saying through her own upbringing, her own trauma, her own, whatever it is. And so I have to go back sometimes and try to restate what I was saying, so she can have that assurance. Yeah, I have your best interest, or I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings or make you feel unheard or whatever it is. But yeah, you definitely can have the greatest intentions, but people don't always see that because they're looking through their lens.
Exactly.
Man.
So what was the question? What is something that I
So the question was it something that made you feel that way when somebody says, "Let's talk"? All right, we need to talk. It's always something bad. Terrell put in the comments, he said, "I'm with you. When you hear that, I be the same way. Like, what did I do?" And I get it, because that's, like you said, people don't normally come to you and say, "We need to talk."
And then
serious tone.
And then they be like, "I got $1 million for you."
Hey, sidebar, you know what I hate? I absolutely hate, and I think it's one of my top pet peeves. People be like, I gotta tell you something. But I'm gonna tell you later. It's like, why you just didn't tell me later when you had to tell me what you were gonna tell me?
That's number two.
Don't tell me you gotta tell me something. And because at that point, I'm intrigued and I want to know what it is you want to tell me.
Number one is we need to talk. Number two is I gotta tell you something. Number two. What's this? Don't tell me until you gonna tell me.
Oh, go ahead. I just got upset.
That's like making somebody wait in line.
Right.
Come on. Now I gotta wait all day, sit here and think about what you might be getting ready to tell me.
And then hope is as juicy as
right. And then when they tell you, you be like,
that's all you had to say.
I mean, you could have said that 6 hours ago.
Right. So yeah, that's one of my pet peeves. I definitely. But anyway, back on topic.
So, we was talking about fears. One of the things you was like, how do you deal with it? And I was like, I wouldn't leave. But
it's so hard as a man, though. I ain't gonna lie, because you have that whole fear of what other people are going to think if you're vulnerable or you express how you feel. Like, but we have to, like, in order to really be okay.
But I think fear is natural, but it's just like whether you're afraid of it or you're not afraid of it. I mean, it's more beneficial to try. I guess that's what I mean. Because even if you fail, then it's just like, all right, I'll try. Or it's better than sitting around and thinking, what if I would have done?
Right. So I read a quote and it said the fear that we don't face become our limit. And it's like as long as we don't face it, first of all, it stays a fear. Because most of the time what we fear is probably not as strong as or is not as bad as it seems. And so it stays a fear. And it keeps you in those limits. You never get a chance to exceed that or get to where you want to be because you allow that to stop you.
Mm-hmm. It's called the upper limit problem.
Yes, sir.
It's almost like you're afraid because a lot of times there is a fear of failure, but a lot of times people are afraid of success too. They just don't know. So you put a limit on yourself
because I do it all the time. I ain't gonna lie.
Because you couldn't even imagine what it's like beyond.
And that's crazy because we always quote the scriptures. God can do exceeding abundantly above all we could ask, think, or imagine. But if He really did those things, would we allow our fear to stop us?
Mm-hmm. We'd be like, this is too much.
It's too much. It
can't be real.
Right.
It can't be real. Anything that this good can't be true. And then we'll pump the brakes. Because it's like we've never ventured into this new territory or ground before. And it's like
that's why I love when people are fearless and just willing to just go and just jump out and do it. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I think you have to have a plan, but
when there are those people who are like, I'm just gonna go for it. You be like, dang, that's tight, but that's scary, but
I like that in people because when you put your mind into it, it'll stop you. Yeah. When you think too much about what if this? Like I said, I feel like you have to have a plan. But if that plan doesn't happen as planned, it's okay. But sometimes when we think too much about it, it'll stop us because fear will begin to set in because, I don't have enough money to do this. And what if this happens? And then what if that happens? And then you come to the point where you stop and you've limited yourself or the success of where it could go. And so, like for me, I'm good at a lot of things, But that's why I feel like my problem is too, because I haven't zoned all the way in on one thing. And so that allows fear to creep in for me to be like, oh, well, since you haven't done this on this level, then you're not as good as, this person. And so sometimes fear will set in and then I would limit myself of where I could go. But this year, for the rest of this year, because I think last year, up until this year, my goal was to finish whatever I started. And so I've been doing pretty good with that. Whatever I start, I've been trying to
put a whole back.
Yeah, so I've been trying to work at that, but sometimes that fear will creep in, if you think too much about it. So I have to make myself just get up and do it. Because if I think too much about it, or another thing that we do is we allow ourselves to make excuses for not doing it.
Well, I'm gonna just be real. I don't think I'm afraid of doing a lot of stuff, except for the fear of it's gonna be a lot of work. And I say this because, like, for some reason I'm like an all or nothing type of person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if I picture me doing something, I don't just picture it like it's just gonna be this little small mediocre thing that I'm doing. That it's just gonna be. I picture it like
being big.
If I'm finna do it, then I'm finna be the best at it. Or I'm gonna try my best to be the best at it. Like, I'm not just gonna have to do some stuff.
Hey, but that's the one thing that I really love about you. Like, you're a go-getter, and you're gonna learn all you can about it. Like,
but that's a lot of work.
It is.
So if I'm thinking about doing something, a lot of times what stops me from doing it is like,
how much work is on it.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, I can start off here and build to where I want it, where I see it, but I know the work is gonna take to get to that point, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I really got that anyway.
Right, and then you do have to be real with yourself though, because sometimes people fail, which failing is not always a bad thing, but a lot of times people fail because they don't think about.
They overshoot. People don't count up the cost.
Yeah. You gotta. If you're gonna start a business, you gotta realize that it takes money to make money.
But I think I count up to the cost to a fault. Like, I'll be like, it's gonna cost this. It's gonna be this time. I'm gonna have to do that. They're like, nah, I'm gonna wait.
That's why I said if you think too much about it, it'll stop you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna wait until I got a little bit more. But it takes money to make money, and sometimes you're gonna put out more than you're getting back, initially.
But a lot of times,
how most companies.
A lot of times, I'm not even thinking like financially. It's more like a time commitment. Like,
that's true. That's what it is for me. Because like a lot of people, like, why don't you just do this full time, or why don't? That means I'm gonna have to put all the time into that.
That's what I was gonna say, Scooter. Like, you would need a whole nother week to do all the stuff that you do. Like, because you'd be like, I gotta do this, I gotta go here. I'd be like, I'm gonna take a nap. What are you doing? Like,
sir, you work just as much or more than me.
Okay.
I just do multiple things, but you work just as hard.
You be out here. I'll be at home working.
So how do you overcome the fear then?
A lot of times,
how do you all overcome fear?
Right.
The fear that you all have.
So I don't think I overcome the fear. It's just like, okay.
Well, how do you deal with it? How do you process it?
So I know everybody don't have this, so this is probably like a cheat code. But a lot of times when I get stuck in that, like, man, I don't know if I want to do it because it might require more than I really want to put in, or something like that. My wife will be like, stop talking about it, just do it.
Yeah, that sounds like
so then when that comes out, then it's like, all right, Now, not saying that I do it every time, but a lot of times she's the one who pushes me to.
That's the one good thing about having a spouse,
right?
Well, a good spouse is that, because there are moments that you're going to be weak, that they're going to be strong, and there are moments that you're going to be strong and they're going to be weak. And
so if you don't have a spouse, you got to find a bro or somebody who's going to hold you accountable.
And that's where I was going, because we talk about all the time, people want yes man in their corner, right? Or am I doing this right? Yeah. So I was watching Grown Up Hip Hop last season. I forget which one it is. It might be Atlanta. But anyway, Bow Wow was on there. And so he decided that he was going to make an album about all the girls that he had been with. It sounds like a horrible idea. And he was going to, disclose their names and all this type of stuff, which to me is a terrible idea. But his manager was telling him, this is not a good idea, and these songs are not that great. But he was going on, I let these people listen to it. He was like, that's because you're paying for it. So he's paying, for all these people to be around him. Of course they're going to tell you, yeah, man, that's dope. Yeah, that's tight. Yeah, do that. You should do that. They're not going to be like, that's not a good idea, because you're going to tell them to get out, or they can't hang around you, or they can't go on the trips with you. And so I just think it's important to have people who are really going to hold you accountable to what you're doing and say, hey, I know you're trying to do this, but this is, at least take my advice. Right. Or listen to me, rather. You don't have to take it all the way, but at least consider this before you make this move. And I think you need people like that in your life, and be willing to actually, take it into consideration, because today's time, people think that you're not loyal to them if you
tell them something different than what they
exactly.
Oh, that was another thing that was brought up during this conversation. I don't like to hear anything contrary to what I believe about myself, but I feel like that's human.
Yeah, that is a human thing. That don't mean it's right, but it's definitely because we all want to feel like we're doing. What we're doing. First of all, is probably our best for most of us, especially when you're really working hard at it. So it's like to work really hard at something and then somebody tell you that's not good enough, or it's like it's almost a slap in the face, or like your heart being pulled away from you.
That's probably why I pour so much into what I do, because I don't want people to say that like rejection. Like I don't want that. I guess that's another fear too. But I feel like a lot of times I use my rejection fear not to like stop me, but to make me go
push you even further,
harder. Yeah. Like, okay, to prevent people from telling me that they don't like something I did or something like that, I'm gonna learn everything I can. I'm gonna do everything I can to make it like top of the line. And then when somebody do it after that, it's like, well, they just don't get it. Because, okay, example. Last graduation season, we was making some shirts for somebody. We upgraded it, put it on some nice pictures, on some nice. The lady saw it, was like, why is all glitter? But that was the. You asked for basically a piece of paper with a picture that we put on the shirt. We got upgraded, and then she was like, I don't like how that. So then I wasn't hurt by it. Okay, I'm lying. I was a little hurt, but but it was more like, but she just don't get it. That's what it is. Some people don't know, because I was even like, wait, can we just get her to look at it in person? Because looking at a picture may look a little bit, especially when it's like glittering and looks sparkly. The light can hit it a certain way. The glare of it can give off something different than what it really is. But she didn't even want to come and look at it, so it was like, okay, maybe it's something, maybe something different, like about her, not me. That's her exposure level. Yeah. When you've only gone so far in being exposed to certain things, when you see something that's upgraded, you can't understand the value in it. You don't understand the value. Why they look different than what I no. Go.
I
think this is a bad example, but go ahead.
They're expensive. These shoes are expensive.
But they look trash.
But they don't look like anything. And so for me,
they look like a moon rock. The new ones do.
Maybe because I'm not exposed to that level just yet. I just don't get it.
You're right, because all them expensive shoes look like them Balenciagas, and I don't get it. Why people paying thousands of dollars?
And it's like people are paying for just the name.
These look like the shoes that like your grandparents wear, like when they got bad
orthopedic.
Yeah, like, but you paying thousands for these funny looking grandpa shoes. Like
that's what people are doing.
I feel like that's a bad example. But I get it.
Yeah, but a lot of times, what I was basically saying is sometimes when you're not exposed to better, when you get better, you almost don't know how to appreciate it because you're used to what you're used to, and so that's why it takes sometimes for like rappers to wear certain things for people to catch on to the trend or whoever it is. It takes somebody that that's popular in a certain culture to get through, and then it becomes a trend. Yeah. So with those shirts, you've upgraded them past their level of understanding because you're already here and they're still here. So it takes for somebody famous to put that shirt on. Right. Then everybody's gonna want that shirt.
So the whole time I was thinking, so this is how deep I am with it. So I'm so passionate about this. I was like, let's just give it to her for free, right? Let her wear it, and then she gonna be out. Everybody gonna be like, girl, where you get that shirt from? Why? And then you gonna feel stupid.
That's how a lot of women know when they get their hair
done. but
they may not like it initially, but as soon as somebody else say, "Ooh, girl, that look," then they start loving it.
But unfortunately, the petty in me was like, nah, I ain't.
She got to pay for this.
I ain't gonna talk about it.
But she didn't even give it. Well, that's what happens. People won't give stuff a chance when they don't understand.
But I wanted her to come get them shirts so bad, so people would be like, "Oh, that look," and it just make her look like that. But it could have went the other way. Who knows? They could have thought how she thought. But genuine. I mean, most of the time we do something like that. People like it. That was the first time I went to something like that. So yeah, I was a little pissed.
So with that being said, does that make you fearful or a little apprehensive to do something like that again?
No, I just don't do stuff without people okay.
Okay.
So like let's say somebody asks for something and then we don't have what they're asking for, but we have a replacement.
Okay.
So I was like, well, let them know before we do this, like this is what it's gonna be instead of that.
Exactly.
Because if they don't want it, we won't do it. We could just say, hey, we can't do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess that that stops you from putting all your effort and time into something that you think is gonna be great, and then they don't see the value in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then it keeps them.
She messed it up all year. No.
Right.
That's just
y'all could have been upgraded.
But this
that's what Beyonce said. Let me upgrade you. This can't even upgrade people nowadays.
This must be still
that's
touching me. Yeah, because this was a year ago. Like this was 2020 graduation. So for me to bring it up,
but that's why I asked you. Did it make you a little more apprehensive to actually try something like that? But that's a great alternative to just make sure that people know before you actually press it or make it up or whatever you do. So I definitely get that. So how do you process your fear? Do you deal with it at all? Or do you just kind of try not to?
Sometimes I stay up.
Because like certain fears us as men, we don't want our women to see that we're fearful, or your children to see.
So it depends on how deep it is, right? So if I feel like it's gonna really come out in the day, then I'll probably try to talk about it. But I feel like if I could, this is horrible. If I feel like I can hide it, I've never really thought about it.
That's real, but
if I feel like I can, well, I ain't gonna say hide it. If I feel like I can process it, if I feel like I can process it with myself and figure and like come to some sort of solution, then I'll do that. Even if I stay up and think about it for a couple hours.
So, have you considered that's the same thing that you maybe teaching your kids of how to deal with things?
Yeah.
Because I notice a lot of times people get on their children for doing certain things when your actions kind of taught them to process it that way. So to them, it's like, let me try to either hide this, or let me try to see if I can figure this out myself before I say something to them about
it. But don't do that, kids. I want to know everything. Tell me.
But you got to do that through actually showing them, because people don't understand that you don't even have to talk to communicate with people, or you send some type of communication or signal, and so people are learning by our actions of how we don't do certain stuff. That's they're picking up those habits, and so that's why you get older and be like, I never want to be like my daddy, I never want to be like my mama, and then you say the same stuff and the same stuff, if you don't make a conscious decision to not do those things. But it'll come naturally because that's what you learn. Not, unconsciously, you just learned it and didn't realize that, like, oh, well, let me learn this. And so, man, fears, it seems like it's easy to, like you said, just kind of process it to yourself first, but that's kind of where we stop with it.
Right.
It's hard to even express it to your spouse.
I was gonna say, generally, I process it with myself. The thing is, I never really, or like if it's something, it never makes it to somebody else to process it.
Okay.
So like, I can sit up and think about something for a couple hours, and then come to some sort of solution in my own, which is probably not
the best solution.
I think the missing step is, let me run this by somebody.
That's good. But how do you respond if you run it by somebody and they give you the answer that you didn't want to hear?
Oh, probably will. So it just, well, I was gonna say it depends on who it is, but I ain't really talking to that many people. It's only
A handful of people.
So at this point in my life, if I run it by you, then I genuinely want to hear what you got to say, whether it's tough or not.
That's hard, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That one is a hard one. Because a lot of times, men, we have pride issues.
Right. That's why you don't say it to certain people. If you say it to somebody, you only gonna say it to a few people, so you know that this person who you're saying it to is in your corner. So it's like, all right, they punch. Listen, if I run something by my wife, 9 times out of 10 is never gonna be what I want.
Oh, that's great, baby. But sometimes you be wanting that. Sometimes you just want the person to be like, man, this is amazing. But for me,
Of course we do. But
one of my primary love languages is words of affirmation. So I told you last episode, I need my ego to be strong. Lie to me. Oh, baby, that is amazing. No, I'm just kidding. I want her to be upfront and tell me the truth. But sometimes, as a man, you do need that boost of, maybe I see you. You're doing a great job. Like, So. Okay, so we talked about fear a little bit. And again, reiterating, we're kind of what led to this is talking about like the graduation season, and sometimes in those moments you've gone however many years you've been in that, you've went to that school, you did the activities at that school. Now you're going to another level, whether it's college or high school, whatever it is. Now you're going to something totally different. So it could be like a bittersweet situation. Like, man, I'm glad I'm moving on, but dang, I'm gonna miss this. A lot of times this happens to us in life. Do you allow those moments to keep you stagnant and stay there? Because that's something that happens to a lot of us, male and female. We are scared, almost in a sense, or fearful of the unknown, fearful to move on because you got to get used to something new. Do you ever allow those things to stop you, or are you always excited for the new, the newness?
Were you asking?
Yeah, I'm asking everybody. I want you all to put in the comments as well. Do you all, are you all quick to jump to something new when it comes about? Are you always excited about it, or are you the type of person that allows the fear of the unknown or the bitter sweetness of it all to stop you to say, I want to do this, but I really don't want to? Are you always excited? Like, man, I'm a go-getter. I'm excited for this new opportunity, this new challenge. Let's face it.
I think it depends. Like, with the whole graduation aspect, like, you have no choice in this.
Okay.
Like, you have to move to the next stage, whether that's school, more school, or...
But that can be scary, though, man.
It is. It's scary, but you're forced into that. You can't stay in this place where you can't go back to school. There's no more school, or there's no more high school, or there's no more middle school.
That's,
yeah. Or if you leave college, I guess you could be a career colleger. But
I mean, because you don't hang around those people who you grown to hang around as much. Everybody has their own path, so they may move out of town. You may move out of town as well, or stay there, or whatever it is. Sometimes there can be a fearful place to be in.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're forced into fear, then it's easier than
you gotta learn. You gotta get in there and figure it out.
Yeah, it's easier than like. Well, I guess that's kind of fortunate too. Like if somebody was to get fired, then that would be. But you didn't necessarily choose that option.
Is that the same for like if somebody gets pregnant?
Yeah,
you're kind of forced to.
But you get pregnant, you know you're doing.
I mean, yeah, I guess you had a choice.
Well,
but some people go into it not thinking about that aspect of it. They just want the pleasure of that moment. But there's consequences after that.
If it's unexpected, yes. If it's unexpected, it's the same. Especially if you don't.
Because you're forced. There's no. Oh, we can just stay here. Like you're forced to kind of be a parent.
But like I feel like once you get past like school, all that, like you kind of can control. Like, do I want to switch jobs? Do I want to quit my job? Do I want to like that? I feel like that's where we get stuck a lot of.
Hey, sidebar. Somebody just said this because I've been thinking about this lately. Christina, she said just like Crocs when we were talking about trends and stuff like that. It took for Cardi B to wear them. I was wondering where that came from. For people of color to get interested in them. I've always worn them, and everyone called them when I was younger, I didn't know Cardi B. I didn't either. I was wondering why, like, my goddaughter just had a birthday, and she wanted Crocs for her birthday. I'm like, what? Like Crocs? But they're like, it's like the new trend, like to wear Crocs. And so, and then I didn't even know they were that expensive. We spent like $50-something on Crocs. I was like, whoa. So, but anyway, I didn't know that they were. I didn't know where it came from to the point where everybody was wanting to wear this stuff now.
Because they've been out a long time.
I remember the youth leader of our church. She had bought everybody Crocs in here, and everybody was like, "We don't wear them." I mean, we wore them, but it takes for
Crocs.
Somebody.
I don't know if they still have, but they had a store in the middle.
They did. They did. I don't know if it's still there. But yeah, they definitely did. So yeah, that can stop us as well. Like, you know, not having the right person to either push us or that person to have enough influence in whatever it is to. Okay, so how I am when it comes to things, and you know, because you've done it all. I take more value in wearing my own name. So, you know, everybody wants to wear, you know, all the name brand stuff. I would literally rock my own name. Like, I just find value in it. And that comes from my mother, of course, because she's always taught us, you know, you take pride in who you are, and who cares if what, you know, other names out there. And, you know, we wear name brand stuff, don't get me wrong. But I feel just as confident or like if I have on a Louis Vuitton bag or a shirt, I feel just as important if I have on this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't necessarily find value in what everybody else finds value. Like, ooh, I have to wear this or to do this in order to feel accepted, or I will rock my own.
Yeah, I feel like my perspective on that changed when we started. Yeah. Because, I was the one who was like, I want Jordan. I still wear.
Yeah, I still wear Jordans and stuff too. I don't not name brand fashions and brands and stuff like that, and I will wear them, but it does not make me feel less than if I have my own stuff.
I would rather like support somebody that I know who has something.
And I will rock it.
And especially like I'm a sucker. I ain't gonna say I'm a sucker, but like if I enjoy someone's like content or what they do and they put out like a merch line, I'm gonna try to support them.
Right.
Like Kevin on Stage, like Belief, like all them guys who I watch, because they not putting trash out here for one.
Right.
And then like this is their livelihood too. So it's like why support Louis Vuitton?
Yes, sir.
Or whoever these other big men, I don't even know. And they charge you $200 for a t-shirt, and they already billionaires. Why not support this local or this?
But then why do we do that when it comes? We'll spend the money on the big names.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Consider the big names. But when somebody else price that, you know, probably black, you know, like, why they stuff so high? It's like, first of all, they're probably a up and coming person in something, and they're not getting stuff at that wholesale price either. So, you know, you can't charge $15 for a shirt like you may find in Marshalls or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
Yeah,
you're not getting any profit if you spending the same price for it.
What's funny is I'll spend more on a t-shirt from like a little small business person than I would for like a name brand. Like if I shop at Marshalls and TJ Maxx and Ross to get like polos and they be Nautica and all that stuff, but I'm paying like $15-$20. Like, but I'll buy a shirt from somebody $30-$40.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. I do the same thing.
Do a small little business or something like that, just to support, because I mean, people don't have to support my business, so I would rather give it to somebody who I know than some huge corporation.
I agree. I'm the same way.
Just to say,
I believe in support.
Just to say, I got this name, like, Okay, that's $1 billion of those shirts.
Exactly.
Like this shirt was probably not. I'm not saying this shirt, but like if you buy it from a small business, like this was like a well thought out shirt. Like my wife bought some shirts from this lady on Facebook. She has a show, and it's like a woman empowerment and all that stuff. So it's like there's more meaning in it too. Like it's not just
Right.
I'm trying to get a buck, so I put this shirt on the rack.
They don't like wearing stuff that nobody else have on. That's just me. So that's another reason why I will rock my name. Like, hey, it may turn into a big thing, but now I'm not putting no limits on it because I believe God can do anything. And definitely, if I put the work into it to make it happen. A lot of times we don't get to where we want to be because we won't put the work in.
Oh yeah.
And so
that's the main reason.
Yeah. That to me that leads me to the false reality stuff because people see the end result, but they don't always show you everything that it takes to get to that end result. And so people see that and think, oh, I can just jump out there and do it too. They don't know how much work went into and maybe failing, maybe starting over, going back to the drawing board, that it took to get to that place of
what helped
what
me
we
out
call success.
a lot with this. That clip you sent me that kept on stage saying, if you want to start a podcast, be willing to do 100 shows before you see anything coming.
Hey, we on our way. We on our
and before you see any type of viewers,
yeah,
count and all that stuff, be willing to do 100 shows.
Because people jump out there and want to do it, and then when they don't see the success,
I'm gonna blow up after the second show. What? No, that's not. I don't think that's how it works.
It doesn't.
No matter how famous you are, because my bro is famous. So we still having,
we're still building.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you.
I appreciate
each and every person that logs on, whether you're on
10, the 20 people,
5 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever you log. We appreciate you. Anybody that ever shares the show or comments, we appreciate all of that. And so,
let me tell you something. Let me tell you how famous my brother is. Right? He was on this morning show this week. If you haven't seen it, it's probably on his page. It's cool with Lamont Facebook. But I shared it too, so you ain't got no excuse to find one of us. Okay? My man was in California on the radio. Okay?
Hey.
Singing and everything.
That is a blessing,
It is.
That's a blessing. Shout out to my producer, Levi King, who definitely opened me up for that interview. I did an interview with God First Radio 1, I believe that's the name of the radio show. And so, they were definitely in California and some other states and cities and stuff. So I appreciate those opportunities because, hey, it doesn't have to happen like that. And
man, so, that type of stuff is inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's like he making moves like that. But it's not just exclusive for you though. That's what's inspiring about it. It's like I see how hard you work at what you do, and it's like, well, we all could do that.
That's true. That's the thing. We have to be willing to put in the work.
It ain't just going to happen.
It's not going to just
stuff don't just fall out of the sky.
It don't.
I know he said he'll open up a window for you out of blessing, but you got to do some work first. Like you
have to.
You don't just go outside and be like, all right, open up the window.
And I think that's the problem that a lot of Christians have. We take those scriptures, first of all, out of context, but then we put them to a fairy tale mindset about it and just expect it to happen. Yeah. We make God a genie. Like, ooh, God, look, do this, do that, do that. And it's like, there's some work you got to put in to,
Everybody who was chosen in the Bible was working. Just checking.
Everybody had a job.
They was working.
They was doing something already.
He found them working.
So
He didn't find them sitting somewhere wishing.
So you cannot be lazy and expect God to want to use you. I mean, you can't. You gotta have something going. You gotta be planted in something because, I mean, think about it. In a natural, would you use somebody who you just see sitting around?
Wait,
or are you gonna be naturally drawn to the person who you see busting their tail?
Wait, so my kids always ask me like, "What can I do to make money?" I said, "I wouldn't even hire you, son." I said, "You can't."
That's real though.
You can't even do the jobs that I give you, like take the trash to the trash can that's in the garage. Like that's just a house chore. You can't even do that without me having to remind you every time it needs to be done. Why would I hire you to pay you? I know that's tough.
That's real.
My kids are 8 and 9.
That's real, man.
But I'm not raising little spoiled little boys that think they just entitled to it.
Yes, sir. That is amazing because
I need you to be able to go out and do a work in order to get paid, not to think somebody just owes you something because
I think that's my number one thing.
I'm your son or I'm your I'm gonna provide what you need. You gonna have a house, you gonna have some clothes, you gonna have shoes, you gonna have food. But everything beyond that,
you gotta work for it.
Yeah. Like it requires some sort of work. Like take the trash out, wash the dishes. If you can't do that consistently, why would I hire you?
And you know that's going to set them apart when they go off to college.
Yeah,
because you know
there's actually a study
out on their own.
There's actually a study that shows that kids who work during college do better in college.
Wow! Because you have some form of responsibility.
Yeah.
And so when you don't have that, and you hey, Daddy, send me $300 every time you ask for it.
You don't have no work. You don't have no work ethic. Ain't no way you gonna be. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's kids who will go to school well without working, but
it's still responsibility.
Yeah, that builds another level to you. Like,
and just to know that things don't just get handed to you, that you have to work for them. Like, that's one thing that I did like about T.I. Like, my kids don't have to grow up like I did.
Mm-hmm.
But he still took them back to the hood to kind of see how things... Take your kids to the hood, Carl. Let them see.
That's a whole different show.
But they got a chance to see other kids like them that didn't have what they had
and appreciate what.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think stuff like that is needed because
I get that completely because a lot of times I sit up and say, yes, I want it better for me so that it could be better for my kids. But then that's like, but
that's a double-edged sword.
Are we like grooming them different because they expect
my point.
Like they expect to have their own room and their own this and their own that. When it was like it was normal that I share this with my sibling or like you ask them to share. It's almost like you asking them to
just like almost deaf to them.
Take the house.
Like, why do I have to share a room? You're right. So, and it's like, are we really? Because most of the stuff that gives us the drive, for most of us, is the struggle that we had to go through.
But listen. So another thing, like a lot of the other races grew up similar to I would almost consider my kids privileged. Yeah. So, but they have this thing. It's not like I'm not gonna say they don't have work ethic because that's just generalizing. But like they almost have like a audacity, they think that things belong to them, like which means they just go after. Like for example, like a guy who I work with, a while back. He was like, when I graduate college, I'm going to work for this company because such and such know this person, know this person. He said, when you graduate, send me your resume. I'm a vouch for you. It was like so it's like, I mean, would you rather have it the easy way or not? Like, do your kids necessarily have to struggle?
That's what molded us.
That's what molded us. But it molded us to get to this point so that we can lay a smoother path for them.
But I think that I think when I have children, although they will not have to grow up all the way like I did, I'm still going to make them understand the value of it.
True. And I think that's what separates us, because like my kids are probably more privileged than most, but I still give them, no, you're not going to get that because you didn't do this. Mm-hmm. And this is what I require. Like, my kids be like, oh, well, the teacher said I don't have to read today. Whether reading is a homework assignment or not, that is a home required.
Yes, sir.
So it's like, yeah, people might be doing this. You might know kids that do this, but they don't live in my house.
That's right.
So you got to live.
And the thing is, they may not understand it right now, but later on in life, they will appreciate. Mom told me this story about this girl who every time she got in trouble, she had to go read. And of course, she hated it as a child. Mm-hmm. But when she grew up, it put her in such a better place. And, I think she started writing books. And she became who she was, all because her parents made her read all the time.
But just think about it. Your kids got that audacity where they just go after everything because there's no limits in their head. Like, unfortunately, we thought there was limits. Like, we didn't think we could be the president. Like, my kids were born with the black president in office. Yeah, like, so, like, they have that audacity and plus the work ethic. Like, that could be dangerous. Like, they could take over the world if.
And other people know that. That's why they try to stop us. That's why they try to limit the information we get, limit the knowledge that we can obtain, because they know that if they get this, they can take over the world. They can do great things. Mm-hmm. And that works with the enemy as well. The enemy, the devil knows that if we know certain things about ourselves, if he knows that if we can overcome our fear with faith, mm-hmm. and yet you go through things, but yet you still giving God praise, and yet you still persevering, he knows that if you can make it through that, you're on your way to victory.
That's why he keep throwing that fear in
exactly
every step of the way.
And when you realize that you serve a God who has already given us the victory, and we're not fighting for victory, but we're fighting from victory. From a winning position. When you realize that, or when he realized that, he's going to throw everything that he can to stop you from getting to where you want to be or where you're designed to be. And so it's important to look beyond our fears of those things, because that's what the enemy wants anyway. Yeah. That's what our opponents want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I can stop, like, that's just like in sports. A lot of times people don't know what's happening on the field or on the court. They talking a lot of smack. Mm-hmm. They do that because if they can get in your head, then they can get in your mind, and they can stop you from scoring. They can get, you know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what our opponents do to us, or the devil, or sometimes ourselves.
So I played sports growing up, and your own mental space can really determine how well of a player you are, because you can be great if your coach like tear you down and like mess with your confidence, mm-hmm. like that'll throw you off completely. Like, even to the point where it's like, I just quit.
You could be the greatest player,
and you could be awesome, but like you be like, man, this dude don't believe in me. I don't even want to play for him. Mm-hmm. Just because, like, the way he talks, or like you see a lot of coaches, even with like youth sports, like that's real important because like when I was coaching that 1 year, I would see coaches go ham on first graders. Like I was like, what? Like you cussing like that to a first grader? But dude 10 was nice. So I don't know if that's just like a.
So all the time, that's not a bad thing. Not necessarily the cursing thing, but the pressure sometimes can be a good thing. Think about it.
But everybody can't take it.
Hey, but that's another reason why. Hey, that's how you get tough skin. Think about it. What successful entertainer made it without somebody being on top of it? Exactly. Like a child entertainer, I put it like that.
Yeah.
Most of the ones that we know, the Jackson Five, the Clark sisters, and all these, their parents or somebody was on top of them. They may not have been right in every move that they made, but you need somebody to help you develop thick skin. Why? Because when you go out into the world, they gonna show you
that you need thick skin.
Right. And so that's just like with me growing up. I got teased by my family so much about being chunky. So when I got to school,
what they said was nothing.
It wasn't even that it wasn't nothing, but I had to learn how to jump.
Right.
So when I got to school and they wanted to call it stuff, I had a comeback. But if I didn't have that tough skin pushed into me, and that may not always be right, but if I didn't have that, I would have got to school and been crying. Or I would have got to school and, got pushed over on or got beat up. No, I got comebacks. So,
dang, yeah, that is true.
So, I mean, like, I get what you're saying. Like, maybe that was a little rough to be talking to those first graders like that. But in a sense, they need that because, well, especially growing up, because when you get out in the world, you're going to experience the world. And there's nothing worse than being sheltered. And then when you get out in the world, you get hit with a whirlwind of things, and then you don't know how to respond or react to it because you didn't know that could happen.
Right. But for him to get his kids to,
I don't think cursing at them
to be like as good as they were, he must have developed something that showed like, hey, I genuinely care about you.
That's another thing.
Also,
yes, sir.
I'm gonna push you way past where you think you can go.
That's where relationship building comes in. And I really wish a lot of people would learn this when it comes to school, with dealing with students, definitely when it comes to the church.
Right.
You have to build relationship. As long as we build a relationship with each other, when you do come to me with something that I may not like, I'm more willing to take it because I know you have my best interest at heart. But if I don't know you and you come to me telling me, man, that's terrible, I'm going to immediately jump to defense. And that bothers me about a lot of stuff that I see happen in the church. It's like before we catch the fish, we trying to clean it while it's down in the water. Oh, let's catch this fish. Let's draw it in, get them, close to the culture of it, then teach them, build relationship with them, and then they're more receptive to what we have to say.
I don't know what podcast I was listening to, but somebody was like, the church says come as you are, and then
and then don't accept it.
No, they say come as you are, but next time come like we told you.
Exactly.
This time. Like,
all right, the first time you came, okay, that's time for a change.
The next time come like you heard we talk about you should come.
Oh, man.
Like, we don't give them no time to develop. We just like...
No relationship building.
Yeah.
You don't give time for people to really be who they are and get to the point where they want to change. You know what I'm saying?
Because a lot of people will come back and fake it, but that ain't doing nothing.
That's to me, that's defeat.
Right.
And that's what's happening in a lot of churches that I've seen. I've been in church all my life. Is okay. Now I gotta put this front. Now I gotta act like I'm good.
Let them really get it.
Like, I gotta act like I'm holy. I gotta look like I'm,
right.
It's like,
if they come how they are, let them come how they are. Because eventually it's gonna oh, well, these people do this. Oh, they do that. Oh, okay. Man. So then let them develop into that instead of faking it. Because when you fake it, you gonna
Set yourself up for
when do you stop faking?
Because then you got public success but a private failure going on. Because to the people you got it together, but you struggling behind closed doors. Whatever that is. Maybe your attitude, it may be whatever it is. And so, I enjoyed this. This is you never know. I mean, I never thought that like just talking about fear could lead into all of these different things, but it's real. And when people talk about men opening up about things, it's more than just being mad or being angry or whatever it is. It's about stuff, real life stuff like this that we all go through.
I think fear is probably the biggest one. We just don't admit it because it's not. What do you know? Just be walking around. Man, I'm scared.
And that's why you have bullies. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they're really scared. A lot of times they really, their life is out of order, and they walking around. So really with an out of order sign on them, but they take it and put it on other people and make them feel bad because they feel bad. And in actuality, they probably scared.
Yeah, man. So get out here and tell somebody you scared.
Be careful who you tell, though, because they may try to use it against you.
Tell them you scared. Talk about it. Get you a counselor if you need it.
So real quick, how do you set goals for yourself? And we're about to end the segment, but how do you set goals to face the fear? Or what do you do to set goals as far as expectations or any of those things?
I think I'm bad at goal setting.
Really?
Yeah, because so I'll picture something. And I kind of say, okay, let's go take this and take that. And I guess that's me planning out the little milestones I'm going to have to make it to get to where I'm trying to go. And then if it seems too much, I just be like, all right, let's just do it, or I'm not in the right space.
I get that.
Like when people, like the whole, like, where you see yourself in 5 years, I always struggle with that question.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
seeing yourself where you want to be in 5 years is based off of the work that you're putting in now.
Yeah, but
or it should be.
I guess it's.
So are you limiting yourself?
Yes, but not by choice. It's like I never saw anything like to be like, I want to go after this. So it goes back to like, I never like grew up dreaming, oh, I want to be this when I grow up, or I want to do this when I grow up.
Yeah, that's right. You did say you were the type. You seen what had been gone before you, and you said, I'm going to pattern myself.
Yeah, like most of the stuff that I do outside of like just normal work, kind of just like fell in my lap. Well, it didn't fall in my lap, but like it wasn't like a.
It wasn't something that you planned or thought. Yeah,
it wasn't like a dream. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go after this. It kind of was like, hey, here's the thing, and then like I started looking into it, and then I just ran with it.
Mm-hmm.
Once I saw what it could be, it wasn't until like I saw something. It wasn't like I feel like there's people out here who like just, well, I guess they see it without any work first.
Yeah, that's gonna lead you to feel
like when people ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up, when they in like kindergarten? Mm-hmm. I feel like that's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I do it all the time.
But how can you know that?
Because I ask that because it's simply getting to know the child and what their interest is. Yeah, but if I figure out what their interest is, maybe they say, I want to be a singer. okay, now I know as a parent, let me put a piano on there. Let me give them a mic. That's how you cultivate a gift when you figure out what their interest is. Oh, I want to be a ballerina. Okay, let's get her into ballerina class.
But I feel like a lot of kids give like a cliche answer. It's like, I want to be a cop. I want to be a fighter. That's not
okay. So that's when you start teaching them. Okay, you talked about being a cop, but look at all that goes into it. Let's look at the actual job of a cop. Not only that, the older they get, now okay, let's look at you can be a cop, but you can also be a detective. Like open them up to things outside of what they see. But that to me, that's the way to like I said, to get to know them, to get to know what their interest is, and to cultivate the gift that they're.
But I feel like I didn't even know all the options of things to be until 2 years ago. And
that's one of the reasons why you were like you were, as far as God had to say, let me drop this on you, because he don't even think that he could even achieve any of this stuff. Right. Think about it, you would have never gotten to having your own business of, with the clothes and all that type of stuff with the way you grew up and your mindset.
No.
So he had to literally drop it on you so you can say, I can do that.
Yeah, I never aspired to be an entrepreneur. Like that wasn't even on the radar to be doing something on my own.
But you said it earlier. Everybody that God used, they were already working.
I did work.
You were already, so you were investing in yourself, and you didn't even realize it at that time that you were investing in yourself to become something bigger than what you even expected.
Right. So even when I did start thinking about, I could do this outside of work for somebody, it was still centered around like I used to coordinate like finance classes. So it was still centered around that same thing. This thing that I'm doing has nothing to do with anything that I ever thought could possibly be something I would be doing.
Take the limits off.
Yeah. That moment.
Hey, whatever you're going through in your life, I'm speaking to myself too. Take the limits off, because as long as we have those limits, we're gonna stop ourselves from doing whatever it is, and we cut off. When we have those limits, we cut off what it could be, and we cut off new things from happening. And so you have to open up your mind. Like, I've always wanted to be a singer and stuff like that. I've always wanted to be, and definitely a gospel singer. But I didn't know I was going to get a chance to travel outside of the country and go on tour and, and see all these different places. It was amazing to see the other side of the world.
I'm telling y'all don't know how famous this movie is.
Okay. I don't know what he's talking about. But that only happens when you take the limits off. And I mean, honestly, sometimes God has to show you something outside of what you ever imagined in order for you to think that. I mean, that's how most of us operate. Right. We need proof. That's why when you have infomercials or, you have commercials, you need to see it before you use it or to know that you can obtain it. So you need to get some testimonials or some, so sometimes God will have to say, let me spark this whole interest in you, and you realize you had this in you before you realize, I can do this. But my prayer for you is that God open up your dreaming, and you like really step outside of what you think you can
do. Well, he's done it a lot more.
Yeah, see? Yes, sir. So imagine how much more in the next 5 years you're going to be.
I'm going to try to put me a 5-year plan.
And it's okay to do that, and it's okay if it does not happen. Don't allow that to, because that type of stuff sometimes it makes you feel bad when you look back at it and you didn't achieve certain things.
That's probably why.
That goes back to the rejection.
I know why I'm here.
Oh yes, this is great. This is great. I love it, man. You see why I say a lot of stuff that happens to us growing up sticks with you, and it comes in different areas, and you don't realize it, and it will stop you from doing certain things, or to make you more reserved in certain situations, or make you not talk as much, or make you. I mean, you could say you had a dream about being something, or you inventing something. You told somebody, then they took your idea and ran with it. That could make a person be like, "Oh, I'm never telling nobody else anything else that I'm doing," and that's going to affect them throughout their whole life. And so, take the limits off, y'all. Take the limits off. Whatever you're doing, whether it's being an entrepreneur, whether it's working a 9 to 5, there's nothing wrong with it. Take the limits off of it. Learn as much as you can in it, but don't allow any of this stuff to stop you. I was listening to a preacher earlier, Pastor Levi King Sr., and he said, if you are not willing to fight, please don't feel entitled to victory. And so that did something to me, because the easy thing is to give up. The easy thing is to not fight. The easy thing is to, but we want the victory. We want to see the other side of it. We want to see, the victory. We want to have our hands up, and we want to party. We want to celebrate. But to get to the celebration, you got to go through the fight, or you have to be at least willing to fight. That's the thing that happened with was it Gideon's army? They didn't even have to fight because they obeyed God, and because they obeyed God and they were willing to fight, God allowed the enemy to turn on itself. And so that's how we have to be. We have to be willing to be obedient, because God was telling them, "Hey, y'all got too many people. Get rid of them. Get rid of them." They're like, "Oh, really? You want us to fight all of them with 300 people?" Like, they could have had that mindset. They could have allowed that to stop them and say, "We're not even going to go out there because, we're definitely going to lose." Right. But because they were obedient and they were willing to, they got to the victory without even having to fight for real. So whatever you're dealing with, don't take the limits off. Don't allow the lack of what you see to stop you from going. Don't allow that to stop you from doing what God has called you to do. Because if you do, you limit yourself, and you are not entitled to the victory. So I'll say it again. If you are not willing to fight, please don't feel entitled to victory. This has been a great show.
Awesome.
We've talked about fears, talked about the newness, and being excited about it. Whether you're graduating from college, high school, whether you got middle school, all those. Whether you've got promoted on your job, or you had a whole career change, that happens as well. Or whatever new you're walking into that season. Sometimes it is a little fearful, but walk anyway.
Change your mindset.
Do it anyway. Do it afraid.
The cup not always happy.
And because as long as you're not willing to fight, you don't know what it could have been. But if you fight, even if you fail, at least you fought. At least you did. So that's all I got to say. I'm Scooter Lamont. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and this is my brother,
Carly.
Man, the billionaire. The $1 million billion man with the plan. I enjoyed this conversation.
In 5 years.
Hey, man, I'm scared of you. In 5 years, where you gonna be? Because you're taking the limits off, and you're not gonna be thinking, "Oh, I can't do that." You're gonna be like, "I can do that," whatever it is. And the thing is, and as Christians, we believe that we don't have to do it in our own strength. The Bible says we can do all things not through ourselves, but we can do all things through Christ that gives us strength. And so I believe that for you. I believe that for me and my wife, my family, we are going to do all things through Christ. And I believe, like I said, that we're not fighting for victory. We're fighting from it. We're fighting from a winning place, a winning stance. And so whatever you have going on in your life, know that you already have the victory because victory is already won. So that's all I got for tonight. Thank you all so much. This has been a great 20th episode. This is new for us because we actually are sitting here together with you all.
We walking in a new territory right now.
Come on.
Look at us.
We might be like Kevin, have our own studio soon.
Man, me too studio.
Man, me too studio. Oh, we gonna have it all. We doing it all. And see, you gotta watch people like me because I'm the dreamer. I'll be like, let's do it.
Don't worry. I'll
He's gonna keep me level-headed. But again, thank you all so much. Like, comment, share this show. You know, even people that are not on Facebook. Again, we are on YouTube as well.
Yep.
Are we on any other place? Okay, so we're working towards some great things. We in the fight. We making it happen. We actually trying to get towards that 100 episode.
Actually, we are. You can find us wherever you find podcasts. So like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that. We're just in construction. But there is an episode of it. So
go listen to it. Go listen to it. Listen to it while you're at work.
So you listen to episode 20 now. Go listen to episode 1.
Man.
And, you know, drop us some comments. Send
us some encouraging remarks. Let us know what y'all think of the show. Let us know what y'all would like to see us do. Any of those things. We appreciate it. So you all have a great night, and we pray that you are blessed. Remember, you may be going through some stuff. It's okay to express it to us because guess what? Me too.